Hi, and thanks so much for joining me. Today we are talking about this Dior foundation. If you'd like to see that, please keep watching. Okay, this is not a new foundation. It is the Airflash Spray Foundation, and I was always curious about this, but I never thought I could find my shade. So that's one reason I didn't try it. And I was always really perplexed by the spray. Like initially I thought you're supposed to spray it on your face, and I just thought that was not going to work for me. But I've been reading about ways to apply this. So we're going to apply this with a sponge and with a brush, and we'll talk about how I've tried it with my fingers before as well. So I'm also going to compare the shades for you because I wasn't sure which shade, even though they've expanded the range, sometimes I get more confused. So I picked up 3W and 3WP, I think, or 303. So we'll try a couple different ways to apply, as well as see these shades side by side. So let's go ahead to try on. I just have a little bit of concealer underneath, Sisley and La Prairie. Let's go ahead with the foundations. Now, I'm going to use two ways to apply this, a brush and a beauty blender. I do have a little towel here just because I know it can kind of spray a little bit, so that was the best way I could think, just to keep everything a little bit more tidy. I know some of you have had trouble getting this on furniture, so that's kind of my best solution right now because I'm going to be spraying this onto those tools. Yeah, one of the reasons I never picked this up is because initially I thought you spray it on your face, and I thought that would be a complete mess on me, in my hair, everywhere on my clothing. So I have read about different ways to apply this. Okay, so I've tried it to spray it on my hand and then apply it with my fingers, which is okay, but so I'm just going to show you the difference between the shades and the application. So we have 3W, and then this one is 3WP or Warm Peach. It's listed as 303. Now you would think this would be the lighter of the shades because of the color of the exterior, and that this would be the deeper, but it's the exact opposite. So in case you're wondering, so let's go in with this one first because it's a little bit lighter. Well, not a little, it's quite a bit lighter. So I'm going to go in with a beauty blender first. Just going to shake it, and then I'm going to spray on here, but I'm going to spray it over this towel. Okay, on one side. And it comes out quite, you know, substantially. So just be aware a lot will be deposited. And this is the color on my skin. So it actually is even quite light for the center of my face. So if you were thinking that this is a peachier shade, it's not really. Yeah. So I'm just going to apply it lightly here because I already know it's a little bit too light. Not a little, it's too light. So this is definitely helping, just having a towel right there on my little tray here. I have a plastic tray that kind of holds my makeup. But there is certainly the risk of getting this on other things, so. Okay, so this is applied with a beauty blender. So it's okay. I think it goes on fine. Yeah, but you can see like the lightness of it. So let's go in with this. So remember, this one looks like it's more rich, but this is actually the one that is a different shade. So, and then we'll go ahead with this brush. Now, from experience, I know this a little goes a long way with this one, so I didn't spray as much on. I'm going to show you application with this. And this is just the smallest amount. So you can see that the Beauty Blender really packs it on. I know it's lighter, but it really does kind of pack it on densely. And this one disperses it really beautifully. So if you were wondering what the best application is, here's the difference. I feel like even the finish is different. So do you see that there's a more of a glow over here than here? I feel like it just went on, and that was a little damp, that Beauty Blender. So usually with a dampened Beauty Blender, it will thin out the consistency a little bit for me, but in this case, it just, I think the color has something to do with it as well. So again, this is not peach, it is just lighter. And it looks like, again, this should be the more rich of the two. It is not. So I'm going to go in with this and try and even everything out with this. So if you do not have this brush, it's quite impressive. I'm going to try and just move everything around here so we have a more even skin tone. And then let's go a little bit more with this 3W. Again, I'm just doing the slightest bit of a spray here. So this is a blend of the two. Yeah. So you can see the coverage is pretty good for a very thin layer. I feel a bit of hydration here as well. Let's see if we can build it up in the middle here and see if we can get that concealed a little bit more. But yeah, do you see my towel? Like, this is what's happening. It's ending up, I have some lipstick on here, but it's ending up on the towel as I spray. So I'm just going on those darker areas a little bit more intensely. And I had that scar. I don't know if you noticed it. I had a little, like, little teeny tiny breakout there. Not breakout, it was just one. So I think it does a pretty good job because my concealing will be quite minimal after this. But here is the foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and just finish up the rest of my makeup. Because this is a very like a thin feeling foundation, we're going to go in with this Hourglass Concealer because it's a very lightweight, thinner kind of concealer. So we're just going to do this. And then I'm going to take my Beauty Blender and just put that in. Oh, that's a shade Apricot, by the way. I think the consistencies work really well together. So I thought actually one of the reasons I bought that Warm Peach one was because I thought I could use it as a concealer, kind of like with this is Apricot and it's supposed to be warmer. So that totally didn't do what I wanted it to do. Okay, we're gonna just take this Clé de Peau loose powder. I've got a Chanel puff here. I'm gonna get the powder into the puff. Really, yes, whew, really get it in there. And then I'm going to press. Okay, it looks super light now, but I'm going to go ahead and bronze on the exterior. That'll bring it back, and then I'm going to finish up. What shall we take for bronzer? Okay, let's take this Guerlain bronzer. I just feel like bronzers solve so many issues because I have so many different shades on my face. I feel like it's easier to go lighter and then just go ahead and adjust where needed versus if the foundation is too rich in the middle, there's no kind of fixing that. So I'd like to match more towards the middle of my face. It just works out for me. So you can see, even though it was super like mask-like, the bronzing really helps. I'm actually going to do my eye look separate from this. That'll be a different video because I wanted this to be kind of a reference point for the foundation in case you were just interested in the foundation. But I'm going to put on the rest of my makeup and we will talk about the formula, the shades, and application when I get back. So I've evened everything out as much as possible. Bronzer sure helps quite a bit. That is like my go-to fix-it for any foundation issues I have. Again, I do like to go on the lighter side because it's easier to even out the exterior than to be too deep on the inside and then it just looks like totally the wrong color because I've got my neck here too, which I don't apply foundation to because I just don't like the way it feels. So I don't apply it. But as you could see, 3W is the best match for me. This was totally off. It wasn't even peach. It was just lighter. So I may mix the two for the center, but even with that, I feel like it was a little bit too light. So we'll see how it goes, though. I will continue to experiment experiment with them, but I just want to look at the claims really fast here. So this is, again, not a new product by any means, but it says it was inspired by backstage makeup techniques, and it says it's a flawless complexion every time. It says infused with light diffusing pigments, instantly smooths the skin and boosts radiance for a perfect complexion that lasts all day, even on the runway. Micro diffusion system delivers a fine mist of foundation to provide a soft, velvety complexion. It says it's water resistant, and it says it ensures 12-hour hold, and the colors stay true. They've only tested it on 20 people though. It says buildable custom coverage to suit any tone and texture. Application tips, it says make sure to shake the can, which I did, and to spray on the face, which I did not do. I just feel like it's going to end up in my hair, on my clothes. I just didn't see a good way of doing that, and I haven't even tried it because I don't know. Let me know if you've tried it though, because I do understand that you probably get a very even application with it. Like, I've seen those machines that do that, and I've always been fascinated by it, but I feel like if I can't see what I'm doing, because I'll probably be closing my eyes, maybe it's better to do if you are not the person applying it and you're applying it on someone else. I feel like that's a possibility, but maybe I'm wrong. Let me know. Or it says spray onto the Dior Backstage Buffing Brush, which I don't have, but I have that Shiseido one, which is amazing. And then apply it just as I did. Okay, so I do think it's a radiant finish. I think it's very skin-like. It's one of the prettier foundations I've put on. Yeah, there's a beautiful radiance, and I have more like oily prone skin in the center. I'm actually going to do a wear test on this just to see how it performs with a face covering, because that's initially why I picked this up. Someone was asking or had heard or read or something that this did well with a face covering, so that will be posting soon. If I haven't posted it, I've already filmed it. But actually I filmed it with my different hair, so if you notice my hair is different, that's why. I may add on one more, we'll see. I kind of want to see if I need to add on another day, because I did 2 separate days in 2 different conditions with it already. But I think it applies beautifully. Again, this brush is amazing. So between the sponge and the brush, I feel like with a sponge you really, and that's how I initially started. Actually, let me go back. I initially started using my hands and applying it. That was not great. I used this. I thought that was better, but then I was like, okay, let me finally use this with foundation. And this is an amazing brush anyway. I've tried it with a few other foundations since I tried this initially, and this is amazing. Yeah, this is quite an amazing brush for foundation, because as you can see, there's nothing left in there. It doesn't look like I used it at all. Like, I'm even touching the brush and I don't feel any residue. So a little went a long way with this brush, and it definitely looked so much better with that brush. So I would recommend using a brush if you're not sure, and then also putting like a towel or something down underneath it, because you will end up getting it on a surface underneath, because it just isn't going to land on the surface of this. It will land everywhere else around it, just because the spray is not that condensed and not that focused. So yeah, so I think it's a really pretty foundation, and I can see why people with dry skin really like this. It is hydrating. So I hope that was helpful for you in terms of shade match. If you are near my skin tone, I would definitely go with 3W, and I would apply it with a brush. Especially, I can vouch for this one. I don't know about the Dior one, but this one works amazingly with this. So I hope that was informative. Please let me know if you have better ways, or if you have tried it directly on the face. I'm just a little bit like, I don't know how that's gonna work, but let me know. I will try it if you tell me it works, and if it works like the best that way, let me know. I'd be really curious to know what you think of that. But that is it for today's video. So please take care of each other, stay well. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks.